Hi there, and welcome to Live with the Paper Pixie, episode 380. I'm Julie DiMatteo, the Paper Pixie, coming to you live from Alpharetta, Georgia. Today is Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. We're just 2 days ahead of 4th of July here in the U.S. If you're watching us live, say hello and where you're watching from. Got to give a shout out to my brother, Bubba G. Hey, Gregors. Let's see. If you would like to participate in the chat, you just need to log into your Google or YouTube account. Then you can join in the live chat. And a special shout out to my Pixie patrons. You'll recognize them in the live chat with the little magic wand icon next to their name. It also looks like YouTube is doing something new in the chat. I saw the little top fans crown in the chat. I don't really know what that means. By default, the chat is going to show you top chat. You can change it to live chat. I don't know if it filters out any messages, but you just toggle that at the top of the live chat. And for those of you watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. I hope you guys have had a great week. We are doing a circle handle gift bag tonight. I've been wanting to do one of these. There's so many versions of this available out there, but I love the look of it. And if you know me, you know I love handbags. So this is kind of my take of a little handbag with circle handles using that pear suite, which has just stunning designer series paper. So that's what we're gonna make tonight. A couple of housekeeping things. If you've got questions for me tonight, go ahead and put a Q in front of that question in the live chat. That will make it into my queue. Please do save the Qs for questions. I will stay on. I'm going to save all of your questions till the end of the stream, but I'll stay on the end to answer all of your questions. That lets me focus on demonstrating tonight's project for our replay watchers as well, so I can stay focused so I don't have squirrel moments. When you shop at Stampin' Up, you earn Stampin' Rewards on orders of $20 or more. This is a brand new Stampin' Rewards program that launched in April. You earn 10% back in Stampin' Rewards on orders of $20 or more. You can use my magic shopping link to shop with me, thepaperpixie.com/shop. That will auto-magically take you to the Stampin' Up! Online store shopping with me. And there's only two things you need to do to earn Stampin' Rewards if you're not already earning them. You need to make sure you have a Stampin' Up! Online account, really easy to create, fast and free to create. And then you do need to opt into the Stampin' Rewards program. So make sure you do those two things, and your Stampin' Rewards will be good for 12 months from when you earn them. So it's a great way. You can either use them on each order after that, or you can save them up. I know a couple of my team members are saving them up for the banners and alphabet die bundle, which is a really amazing bundle in the annual catalog. So a couple of other things. Yesterday, a whole new round of online exclusives released, 43 new products to be exact. Those released yesterday along with two kits. One is a Halloween kit, which has some really adorable milk carton boxes. So if you like to give things to your neighbors or maybe make things for your children or grandchildren for their classmates, the Halloween Sweet and Spooky Kit, I think is the name of it. The milk carton boxes, I asked Stampin' Up! Because I had a couple customers that asked. The size of those are 2.5 by 2.5, by 5.5. So they're actually a really good size milk carton. You can put lots of treats in those. They're really, really cute. So check that out. If you go to thepaperpixie.com/online only, I'll make sure to add that link to the description as well. And there's also a beautiful birthday card kit as well. So check out those two new kits. Check out the new online exclusives. If you're on my email list, you got a bunch of information about that yesterday via email. And what else? I'm going to flip the camera here. Show you the project. I don't have show and tell from Nolan. They have been playing Roblox lately instead of Lego. So they are working on some diamond paintings, Lily and Nolan, so I may have those before the end of the summer. We are officially past the halfway point of summer. They've got 5 more weeks, which includes this week, left of summer. They go back to school August 4th, if you can believe it. We start a little early here in the Atlanta area. So this is the project we're making. It's a really great size gift bag. Yes, it will fit a gift card. It's actually a really great way to give a gift card. But the measurements of this are 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 by 1 1/2. So I added a little like purse charm on here. This is actually a, I have some adhesive on my nail there. This is actually a tie knot. Like a necktie knot, and I added this little closure here as well, but it is totally optional. If you wanted your gift bag to just be a straight stand-up gift bag, you could not do the side gusset score lines, and then you don't have to add the little closure here, but I thought it kind of took the gift bag up a notch. So there is that. And then what else did I want to tell you about that? We're creating the handles with circles. So I'm using the Stylish Shapes dies and the 2-inch circle punch. Let me show you the other products we're using. We're going to be using, just going from top to bottom here, Mossy Meadow ink. I did my little ribbon saver thanks to Brenda Quintana at QB's Quest. If you have not seen her ribbon saver tutorial, check it out. It's actually really easy to do so your ribbon doesn't get all unruly. So this is the new Mossy Meadow and Gold 1/4 inch trim. It's gorgeous. It comes with the, is it Perfectly Pears? I don't remember the name of the suite. Well, Perfectly Pears is the bundle. I don't remember. You guys probably know it. It's probably the name of the designer series paper. We've got these awesome low profile sort of glitter dots that coordinate with the suite. I couldn't get them both on one side, so I put the small on the front, the larger on the back. We're using the Perfectly Pears bundle. This is my favorite sentiment in here. A good friend is a gift, which I thought was perfect for this little handbag here. The dies, we are using this one from the dies. I did a couple of the some of the die cutting ahead of time to save time. We're also using my favorite Stylish Shapes and the circle that is 2 5/8 in diameter. And then we're using Textured Notes and the smallest of the rectangles here, which I think is 3/4 by 2 1/4, I think is the size. I've got it on the project sheet. Speaking of project sheet, let me show you. Oh yeah, and I forgot we're using the 2-inch circle punch. And the project sheet is linked in the video description. If you joined early, it might not have been there. You can just refresh to pick it up. But you'll have pictures of the project, all the measurements. I've got a tip for a template. You've also got the template to reference and all of the Stampin' Up! Supplies, which are also linked in the video description as well. What was my point in telling you about the, I don't remember. The project sheet. Oh, maybe because it'll tell me the suite. Painterly Pears Suite, I think is the suite name. I don't have a swatch book for this yet, but I've got to show you this stunning designer series paper. So this is the paper that I used on the sample, front and back. Okay. We're going to use this paper on tonight's sample that is front and back. It is the same pattern, but with the Secret Sea background. This one, I actually cut out these little pairs of pears, and that's what I used to die cut. I love how these shapes, or the dies cut out the shapes in the designer series paper. So I actually did that ahead of time, but there's front and back of that pattern. Some of these are repeats. Let's see. This one is gorgeous. If you cut it in a certain way, you can get a lot of card fronts from it. There's the back side of that. Yay, Bonnie, I'm so glad you like the project sheets. Oh yeah, I already showed you that pattern. And I showed you that one. Look at this one. Is that not gorgeous? I love this so much. And then one more pattern. This beauty. Ah, love it, love it, love it. All right, let's get this out of the way. So that's what those are the products. And then we're gonna start on the gift bag itself. All right, so I took a full sheet of Old Olive, 11 by 8.5 or 8.5 by 11. And I cut off a piece that measures 5 1/4 by 11. This is gonna be the piece that we're gonna create the gift bag from. And I want you to save this piece. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna cut this in order to get all 4 of the handle pieces that we need out of this one piece. So to create the project cardstock wise, you're gonna need a full sheet of 8 1/2 by 11 plus a little scrap if you're gonna do the little clutch closure. I forget what I called it on the project sheet. What did I call that? The clasp. The little clasp piece, you just need an extra scrap piece of old olive for that. So we're gonna start with the 5 1/4 by 11 inch piece first. And I'm gonna bring in the Simply Scored. And along the 11 inch side, we're gonna go ahead and score this at 3 3/4, 5 1/4, 9, and 10 1/2. Now I want to start scoring the gusset here, but I only want the next 2 score lines to come down 2 1/4 inches. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. I love to find like different tips and tricks and ways to show you how to make stuff easier. So I was actually just gonna bring in that extra piece. Remember that was 8 1/2 by 11. We cut off a 5 1/4 inch piece. I'm just gonna use this and kind of line it up. I gotta be over the top of my Simply Scored here for a second. I'm lining up that top edge of this additional piece at 2 1/4. So you've got measurements here along the left. That's gonna kind of just give me a starting point. And I'm gonna make score lines. Again, we're gonna stop when we hit 2 1/4 inches down. So we're gonna do that at 4 1/2 and 9 3/4. So 4 1/2, then I'm gonna stop where I put that cardstock. And then 9 3/4, whoops, as I jumped the track there, hold on. Sometimes when you're doing stuff for video, I'm at the wrong angle. Do that one more time, there we go. So 9 3/4, and I'm gonna stop where the cardstock is. And yes, I do jump the track just like you guys do. All right, so then I'm just gonna bring in my ruler and just make sure that I went down 2 1/4. So I'm right next to that score line. And I can go just a little bit further here, and I'm just gonna put like a little tick mark right there at 2 1/4. And I'm just putting my ruler flat on this left edge. Just making sure that one actually went to 2 1/4. So I'm just doing a little, tiny little tick mark. And that just kind of helps me. That's the bottom where we're gonna then do some diagonal score lines, okay? All right, I'm gonna hang on to my stylus and put the Simply Scored out of the way. All right, so template. We did those shorter score lines. Remember, we only came down 2 1/4 inches down, okay? You could go all the way down if you wanted to, but you get a nicer look if you stop it at 2 1/4, okay? So we came down there. Now we're gonna connect the bottom of that short score line with the intersection of these score lines to create those diagonals. So we're just gonna basically create triangles, okay? So I like to just bring my stylus to where I made that little tick mark, and you can kind of see the tick mark there at the bottom. I'm gonna place my stylus there. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Hold on. I got all sidetracked with the gusset. We forgot to do one more score line, so we're gonna rotate it clockwise. So I'm gonna repeat since I skipped a step. 3 3/4, 5 1/4, 9, 10 1/2, all the way down. Then at 4 1/2 and 9 3/4, we only come down 2 1/4 inches. Then we're gonna rotate clockwise. We've got one more score line to 1 1/2. You guys in the chat, if you picked up on it, you're probably like, Julie, no. We needed that little intersection of score lines there. Okay, so I just rotated it clockwise, 1 1/2. All right, now we have an intersection to connect. So again, bottom of that short score line, and then I'm gonna bring my ruler to the stylus, and I'm pivoting my ruler so that it connects with this little intersection of score lines here. I'll show you on the template again in just a minute. I'm going to do it both directions, and I'll show you closer to the camera. Like that. Okay, so from the bottom of the score line, diagonally down to the closest intersections. So again, bottom of the score line, bring the ruler to your stylus, and then score. Like that, okay? So we do those. Easy peasy. Now I just need to do the other one. So we're little triangles, okay? And little track skipping line there too. Makes it handmade. All right. So now I'm gonna take my bone folder and we're gonna fold and burnish on all the score lines that go all the way across, so ignore the short and diagonal score lines. There we go. Okay, and then we're gonna do a little bit of paper surgery. So I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna cut up each, I've got the shorter section along the bottom. I'm gonna cut up each of those score lines, stopping at that first horizontal score line. And I'm just cutting right down the middle of the score line. All right, and then in this lower corner, I want to go ahead and remove this rectangle. And as I do that, I'm just gonna come in and miter cut like that from the corner. And then just a little miter cut here at the top edge. And then we need to come in and miter cut on these little tabs that we created. So I'll just move the large sections out of the way to isolate those tabs. And then I'll just come in and do a little angle cut there. Like so. Okay, now we need to add our little circle punches here, but there's a couple of things we need to do first. First, we're going to adhere our designer series paper because I only want to punch once as opposed to having to punch, well, I'll punch twice because there's 2 punches instead of punching 4 times. So let me grab my little pieces and parts. We're going to do the darker background paper, and I'm just looking to see, I think it goes that direct. These are both square pieces. These are 3 5/8 of an inch square. So 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. And this panel here, the one closer to our little side tab, is gonna be our front, the front of our gift bag. So I just wanna kind of pick and choose. I think I want this panel to be in the front and this one to be in the back. Just kind of pick your favorite pattern placement. So, liquid glue. And because we are going to be punching a circle, I do want to make sure I put adhesive in the middle as well. And then we're just going to center this in those big sections. So you're going to have 1/16 of an inch of the old olive peeking out from behind the DSP or designer series paper. This is directional, so you just want to make sure you're putting it the right way. So with our gift bag kind of in landscape position, the top of your pattern should be on the top edge here. All right, got those smoothed down. I'm just gonna kind of spread everything out with my bone folder there. Okay, So I'm gonna show you how to do a little bit of a template. This is included on the project sheet. It's a little template tip at the bottom of the front page. I have cut a piece of scrap cardstock. You could have this be any color. I'll get it out of here. Come on, oh boy. I just got these new trays and we'll see how they work for me. All right. So this is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Can be any color cardstock. Grab something from your scrap. And I want to basically figure out the center point for the 2-inch circle punch. We got to do the 2-inch circle punch first. And I just found that the easiest way to do that was to use some score lines. You could use a pencil mark if you wanted to. Score lines are just quick and easy for me. So it doesn't matter, since this is square, just put it up there in the upper left corner. I'm gonna score it 7/8 from opposite sides. So again, I just did 7/8, rotated at 180 degrees, 7/8 again. Then I'm just gonna turn it 1/4 of a turn and do 1. So what that has done is given us this grid pattern. So we're using a 2-inch circle punch. This is gonna be the halfway point from the center of the circle down, and this is gonna be the center point. So this is 2 inches in width here. So I'm gonna bring in my circle punch, and it might be easier if well, I think you can see those score lines. I'm gonna then come in with the punch, and I'm wanting to punch where I line up the 2 side score lines on the side of the punch, and the top of my circle, I want it to touch the top of the score line there. It doesn't have to be exact, but close enough. So see how that went right in there? I kind of used those score lines as a guide. So now this size is going to fit these panels here. And what I like to do is take a pencil and I'm gonna trace the inside of that circle. So I actually, when I did my sample, I did it on this side and then realized, let's do it on the back. Then I don't have to erase my pencil mark. So if it's easy for you to use a tool to kind of get things lined up, I don't even know that I need to use a tool here. I don't need to use a tool. If you wanted to, you could use this to line it up, but I don't think we even need to do that. I know I put a pencil out here. There it is. All right. So I'm just lining this up in the panel. And I'm going to take my pencil and just trace there. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you could do that, but I found that to be the easiest. Then what I do is come back with the 2-inch circle punch, and now basically, because this is a punch out and I traced it, this circle should be able to be completely punched out. So I'm just gonna come in. Now again, we're punching through 2 layers, a designer series paper and cardstock. And I'm basically just, it's gonna be hard for you to even see that pencil, but I'm just punching away the pencil. Okay, and even if we had a little bit of pencil here, you're not gonna see it once we glue the handles into place, okay? There we go. So you can see I left the pencil behind on the punch out. There we go. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead. Oh, Donna, thank you for the super chat. You're so sweet. Thank you. I'm so glad you loved tonight's project. All right, so now the fun part is we're gonna create our handles. Now I've done 3 of the 4 ahead of time to save time tonight, but I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks to create these. So I'm gonna bring in that extra piece of cardstock. Remember, this was the remainder of cutting a 5 1/4 by 11 inch piece from 8 1/2 by 11. So what does this measure? I can't do the math, live math. So this is like 3 1/4 by 11. If you divide 11 inches by 4, you get 2 3/4. So I'm gonna cut this 11 inch length into 4 2 3/4 inch pieces. just showing you how you can get all 4 handles from the remainder of the cardstock. Okay, so we've got our 4 pieces. Again, what did I say? That was 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. 2 3/4, 3 1/4. So I got those 4 pieces, and this size actually works really well with our large punches. So I'm going to bring in the punch again. The trick with doing sort of are they concentric circles? What are they? I'm basically doing the whole, this is what we're trying to create, is a handle like this. It's always easiest to cut the inner circle first and then the outer circle, because then you can center things better that way. So again, I'm using a 2-inch circle for the inside circle and a 2 5/8 inch circle for the outside circle. Whatever size circles you have, you want them to be at least 1/2 of an inch difference in size, because that's going to give you about 1/4 of an inch handle. So you could use punches, you could use dies, whatever you want to do. I like doing the combination of a punch and a die because personally it's easier to punch out of the gift bag than it is to die cut. You could die cut, but then you get a couple of extra lines. I don't know, my preference is to punch. So I've got these little pieces again, they're 3 1/4 by 2 3/4, and I'm gonna just pop them into my punch portrait. And that allows me, that cardstock is basically right on the edge of either side. I just kind of take my thumb and middle finger and just center that. I've dropped the cardstock all the way down, like it won't go down anymore. And I just kind of center that, and then I'm gonna punch. And that gets it not totally in the center, but enough in the center that we can create our rings. So you would do that 4 times. I'll just do that quickly to kind of show you the mechanism and how quickly it goes. Oh, they're talking about the experience. Is that coming from the top fans? I'm not sure what the experience points are or how YouTube calculates it, but it's something new they're trying, it looks like. So again, you're going to want to save these circles maybe for something else. But we've done those circles. Again, we've got these kind of, they remind me of like when you're cutting biscuits out. This is what's left of the dough, the negative piece. So then I'm going to bring in my circle die. And again, this is about 2 5/8 of an inch in diameter. I'm just going to do one of these. You don't have to sit here and watch me do all 4. I've cut 3 of them in advance. Let me get my stuff ready. All right, so the way we're going to do this is again, you'll see it's so much easier to have punched first, and then I'm going to take this circle die from Stylish Shapes, and I am basically placing it so that I see the same amount of old olive all the way around. So just shift it if you need to, and take your time with this because then you're going to have nicer looking handles. So let me grab my die cutting machine. And then we're going to end up with this really cool circle ring like that. Okay, so you're going to do that 4 times. So with all the 4 pieces that you created. And now we're going to go ahead and place these onto our gift bag. So let me bring in the other 3. The magic of video. Voila. All right. I feel like I'm building the Olympic symbol here. All right. Then I'm going to grab liquid glue. I like to start on the front. You could start on the back if you want, but essentially what we're going to do is sandwich these front and back, and you're going to get a sturdier handle. We're going to end up doing something like that. So I'm going to take liquid glue, and if it's easier for you to have some control with the circle closest to you, go for it. But I'm just going to put a thin bead of glue around that little punch out. I don't know, about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge there. And then I'm going to take one of my circles, and we're lining up this inside edge with the curve here of the punch. So just take your time. It's pretty easy to pinpoint. You just don't want to see any of the designer series paper. I do find it's kind of easier if you run your finger along the edge inside there. There we go. That looks good. So that's the first one. Let's do the other one on the front. And there is kind of a front and a back, so I always make sure that I'm putting it on the right way. You guys know what I mean. It's hard to describe, but there's kind of a front and back of a die cut. So just make sure you're putting it on the right way. It'll just give it a nicer look. There we go. And now on the back side, I kind of start by putting glue around the top of the handle. And then again, we're going to repeat the same thing where it's like 1/8 of an inch around the bottom there. So kind of filling that whole circle. And again, paying attention to the right side versus wrong side. I don't know, it's really hard to show on camera. That's the back side. That's the front side. And then we're just going to layer those over each other. And I'm just kind of pinching on either side to get that all lined up. There we go. I do like to take the bone folder and just kind of smooth things out. And do it kind of front and back. Okay, now let's do the other one. And then just lining up our circles here. There we go. I love the way these circle handles look. Aren't they so cute? All right, so a couple more things we're gonna do before we glue it together. I've also die cut this piece from Textured Notes dies, but I did add to the project sheet. This measures approximately 3/4 by 2 1/4. So if you want to just cut a piece, you could do that. You could also round the edges if you wanted to. I liked the stitching on this one. So I'm actually going to score this as well. And this one, I'm going to score at 7/8 of an inch from each side. So I kind of hold my index and middle finger apart, and then I have some leverage to score at 7/8, rotate it 180, 7/8 again, and that leaves a little 1/2 of an inch section in the middle. I'm gonna fold and burnish on those pieces. Again, this is optional if you want to have a clasp or not. I'm going to use a Velcro dot, but you could absolutely use magnets as well. And if you need a link to the magnets, I will include those in the description with a coupon code for you from Total Element. It's my favorite. Yay, Yvette. Thank you for the super sticker. Okay, so this is our front. Excuse me. So I want to adhere the clasp to the back section first. So I'm just kind of, let's see, how do I explain this? The first score line, I'm basically just folding it over the circle, making sure that that's in the right spot. So making sure that's kind of straight. I'm gonna press this down flat on my surface, and then I'm just gonna lift up. I'm still kind of holding my finger there so the back part of the piece is not shifting on me. And then I'm gonna put liquid glue on this above the score line, like so, and then I can just fold that down and hold that into place. There we go. I'm just gonna kind of burnish that into place. So we just glued that to the back, okay? So ultimately it's gonna go like so, okay? And then I found it's easier for me to put the Velcro dot on now. So I've got one of those. The Velcro dot's gonna go on the top half of our clasp here, okay? On my sample, I did it after, and it was just hard to get the Velcro dot in there. So I'm gonna leave that backing on, okay? And now we're gonna go ahead, actually we're gonna do one more thing. I'm just gonna gently pinch on our little gussets, just a little bit. We'll do it more once it's put together, but I've got my middle finger and thumb behind, and then my index finger, and I'm just pinching just a little bit to start to coerce the cardstock into place, okay? All right. Now we're ready to put our little circle handle gift bag together. I'm gonna flip to the back. We're gonna fold on the second all the way down score line from the left, and I'm gonna put liquid glue along this tab. Yay, I'm so glad you guys love it. I do too. Makes me want to have a handbag like this because this paper is so pretty. And then I'm gonna fold on the first score line from the right and just lining up those edges there. So just take your time here. You know, we've got a lot of stuff in here, the circle handles, the clasp. Just take your time getting that adhered. But I've got everything I'm pressing flat. We're using our score lines to line everything up. And then I also like to kind of fold both directions. All right, so now, whoops, as I toss that around, now we're gonna focus on gluing the bottom. So if you remember, our clasp is attached to the back. That's also where our seam is. So I'm gonna focus on the bottom now. This is our front. So I'm gonna fold the tabs in, and I know everybody has different ways of doing tabs. I prefer to put the tabs in first. So liquid glue on the tabs. And then liquid glue on the front. Okay, so I've got these circle handles, so I can't use my surface to use as leverage. So I'm just kind of in the air, folding the back tab over and then the front tab. That liquid glue really helps when you've got to kind of hold this in the air. So I am pinching on the left and right sides and on the front and back to get everything squared up on the bottom. And then I'm gonna flip it over, and with my glue bottle, I'm gonna press those tabs down. That little clasp out of the way there. There we go. Now, if you didn't want to add the gussets and you didn't want to add the clasp, imagine that it's not there, okay? This is a really cute gift bag. Imagine those score lines are not there on the side. It would give you a little bit more space to put more things in, like tissue and hand cream and chapstick or something like that. Let me show you also that a gift card fits. So here's a gift card, and it will fit in here as well with a little bit of room to spare. So that's awesome. So gift card plus some other things. But we're gonna go ahead and finish this off by pinching in the sides. So I'm gonna pinch in the corners. Remember, we started to coerce the cardstock. And I'm also gonna pinch, kind of moving my way down to make sure that those diagonals are going to where we're telling the paper who's boss, because you know how I like to do that sometimes. So I'm just pinching, and I like to do just one time. I'm gonna be gentle, I'm gonna pinch right where the top of that triangle is and just kind of pinch it together, just like that, just for a second. Isn't that cute? It looks like a little shopping bag. And then we can pop it back out again. That just kind of trains the paper to pinch in like this, okay? So now what we can do is we're gonna put our little clasp into place, and then we can finish decorating this. So I'm gonna pull the backing off the Velcro. And I'm gonna take my time. I wanna fold this kind of in the same spot. There's no easy way to line this up ahead of time like I typically try to do with boxes, but I'm just taking my time, getting that edge. So I'm bringing that score line to this rounded edge here before I start to push things into place. So see, I'm still kind of sticking it up a little bit till I get it where I want it, and then I will pinch it down gently, right? Because this has a 1/2 inch here of, well, it's a 1/2 inch width. And then I kind of try to get my finger in there, but it's near impossible. I just push the best I can. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hope that it's stuck down enough that I can now pinch those Velcro dots into place again. And again, this Velcro dot's kind of going over the handle a little bit, but got some little paper fuzzies from my circles there. How stinking cute is that? All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of decorating. First, I'm gonna stamp the sentiment. Yeah, because I think I want, you guys can watch me struggle to do a necktie tie while we're live. I should be able to do it. I'll tell you a little story while I do it, but let me grab a scrap piece of basic white. And if Bubba G is still watching, he'll chuckle too. All right, so Mossy Meadow ink, and then A Good Friend is a Gift, which is just a perfect sentiment for this little gift bag. We got that stamped. I'm gonna bring in my die cutting machine. I'm gonna kind of put this little cattywampus, that's how I like to feed triangles and squares through my die cutting machine. And I'm gonna put my sentiment over to the right. That looks pretty good. Okay. Make sure that doesn't shift. All right, so we've got that. I'm gonna bring in my silicone craft sheet and the die cut pears. I'm going to angle those to where the A in A Good Friend is right in that little kind of cut out from the pear to the leaf, okay? So what I like to do is actually put the glue on the tag. So I'm gonna just put a little bit of glue on the left side of the tag. Don't need a ton, just enough to anchor these pears in place, and just gonna kind of nestle them right about there. I'm using my silicone mat just so I don't get glue all over my surface, but heaven knows I have so much dirt and gunk on this. It's a well-loved surface for sure. All right, so it looks like that. We're gonna then grab some dimensionals, kind of both sizes, regular and mini. I might go a little overboard, but I want to make sure. I feel like this is a project that the recipient might hang on to for a while, so I like to make things extra sturdy. So we're just going to kind of pop a few of the mini dimensionals. And maybe one more. All right. 4 regular, 4 mini. Totally overkill. And you could absolutely, if you don't have the mini ones, just cut your regular ones in half. Just remember, you're going to want to clean up your scissors or use non-stick scissors if you're going to cut your dimensionals. All right. I like to use tweezers. These are my reverse tweezers that I love, and that just gives me the ability to kind of place this where I want it. I'm going to put it, that looks pretty good right there. Okay. Then I'm going to grab one of these little yellow ones because I just think that's so pretty. Just to add a little bit of sparkle and bling, I'm going to put it right under the word good. And now we're gonna do our little necktie as like a purse charm, which apparently purse charms are like all the rage, or they have been. All right, where'd I put my ribbon? We are going to do, I like the gold. All right, so on this gorgeous trim, there's one side that's a little bit more gold and one side that's more mossy meadow. I want the gold to be on the outside. So we're doing this backwards. Well, okay, so here's the story. I watched my dad put on a necktie hundreds of times, I think. He never went to work without a tie. And so I feel like I know how to do neckties from watching my dad, but not putting one on myself. If I had to put one on myself, forget it. But from my viewpoint, it's just, I can totally picture my dad doing a necktie. So I have my spool here on the left, and I'm just gonna, because I've got that little, let's see, I'm gonna pull a little bit more leg room out. We're going to, I've got the tail here on the left. I pulled it over to the right, and we're just gonna wrap it around. Okay, let me zoom in because I think this might be easier if I zoom. Zoomy zoom. All right. So I've got my tail in my left hand. I know I'm super zoomed in right now, but we're gonna bring it over the right side, under and back, and then we're gonna go up. Am I doing this right, Brian? Uh-oh, hold on a second. I knew I was gonna be like, and then I know it comes down. Oh boy, hold on. Am I doing that right? Yeah, that's right, isn't it? So I did this while I was doing my sample. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how it goes. But I told Brian, I'm like, when I'm actually live, am I gonna remember how to do this? Am I doing it right? You do a round, and then you go up and through, right? Now, so Brian's doing it from the back side. That's right, we're gonna get this, I promise. I just remember it's around and then back through. Then go up the back.
You go up under before.
Oh, you go up under? Yeah, up under. And then go up and through.
And before you do that, go.
This will be the part of the live stream that I cut out, and then I feel like I'm doing it the other way this time. So maybe I need to do it this way. Hold on. Where the tail's on the right. That might have been what I did. Oh yeah, now I'm not gonna get it right. Over, over, up the back, and down through the loop in front. Oh yeah, I think I got it now. Okay. So I'm going off camera. Did I do that right? Yeah, see, I didn't do that right, I don't think. It's close enough though. Oh gosh, you know when you do it once, I'm like, oh, I got it. I'm totally gonna teach it on the live stream. That's all right. I feel like, all right, well, we're just gonna go with this. So let me show you what I did. I'm sure it's not the right way to do it. So we did over, around. Can't wait to see the comments on this one. Up through, and then we're just gonna pull it down through the middle. I would probably just tie a bow if I were you. But we're gonna go with that. It's not quite how I had it before. That's so funny. All right, well, this is what it should look like. As more of like a purse charm. So let me zoom back out. We'll pretend that's what mine looks like. And watch what's gonna happen. I'm gonna end the live stream, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, you know, you have to go around the back one more time, then up through the opening from, okay. Well, we're just gonna tie a bow for today. Oh goodness. because a bow is cute as well. But I'm going to share with you, oh gosh, now I'm like, how do I tie a bow? There we go. Now I'm doing that. Okay. So the trick with this ribbon is if you are tying a bow, you do kind of have to like twist if you want to get your bow to all be the same gold on the front. So I'm going to kind of just twist everything to get the gold out. That didn't work. Hold on. I need more tail. Twist and twist and twist to get all your ribbon going the right way. I was all excited about the necktie bow, but I have live stream nerves, which still happens to me, believe it or not, after 7 years, 8 years of live streaming, which you guys are the best. All right, so we're just going to do knots and then trim. But I will show you what I did on, I have to twist that a little bit more. On this, for the little necktie, I added a little mini glue dot right underneath the knot so that actually, because of the circle, it'll kind of twist in place a little bit. So I stuck a little hidden mini glue dot behind it. So that's why you'll see the mini glue dots on the supplies list. But you can see there's either with a bow or a little necktie pull. I thought this looked like a purse charm. But there are the two different versions. Same pattern of paper, just a different color background. So there is like the front and the back. Is that not so cute? Oh, I hope you guys, if you haven't already tried the circle handle gift bags, there's so many different inspiration projects out there if you go to Pinterest and search for that. Lots of really cool projects. This is the Paper Pixie version. I wanted to turn it into a little bit of a gusseted gift bag. Again, this will fit a gift card. So just to show you, that will fit really nicely in here, okay? And then you can add treats, again, hand cream, lip balms, candies, cash, all kinds of fun stuff will fit in there. So that is tonight's project for you. Again, linked in the video description is the free project sheet with all the measurements, including the tip for the template. You've got the template to reference, the Stampin' Up! Supplies, which are also linked in the video description. And if you are on my email list, I will also email out the project sheet to you via email tomorrow. You can join my email list at thepaperpixie.com/subscribe. And as a thank you for subscribing, you will get a shadow box worksheet from me that I put together to create shadow boxes of any size. So let's see what else. Check out the online exclusives. I will add links to the description for shopping the online exclusives, also with magnets. If you want to close this with a magnet versus Velcro dots, I'll include the link for my favorite Velcro dots as well. They are the thin clear fasteners. They're 5/8 of an inch in diameter. I'll add all of those links to the description, but as of right now, the supplies and the project sheet are linked there as well. We are going to be live again in a week, so July 9th, but right now I'm going to jump into tonight's Q&A. So if you do have a question for me, put a Q in front of your question. If you haven't already, I am 20 to 30 seconds ahead of you. So let me go ahead and get those teed up. If I miss your question at the end, it's just because I'm ahead of you. You can always email me at support@thepaperpixie.com. Let's see. Okay, so Hope is up first. Who did you say shows how to make the ribbon saver? It's so perfect. I love the ribbon saver. It is Brenda Quintana from QB's Quest. That is another link that I will add to the description as well to her video for these. She gives you measurements for all the different widths of ribbon spools, the most popular widths, but it is really, really nice. And you just use a strip of basic white cardstock, and I love it. It works so well. So I'll add that link to the description as well. I feel like I have a lot of links. I'll remember. So the bag base is Old Olive, Cheryl. The colors in this are like Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. So Mossy Meadow is the ink, Old Olive is the base. Really, really pretty colors together. Max Capricorn, what software do you use to remove the background from your project photos? Do I use a green screen? Oh, thank you. I actually use Canva, and just the background remover is one of the edit options, and it's like magic. It just automatically, it's like it knows what's background versus project. With the click of a button, it just removes the background, so super easy. I love me some Canva. Let's see. Can I please design a medium to large size rectangular divided tray that can hold items on our craft tables? I will keep it in mind, Joe, for a possible future project. I can't promise it if it makes it to my list, but I appreciate the recommendation. I don't know what the crowns are. I think this is the first week those have appeared in the live chat. I know there was some chatter, and I think Yvette may have helped you guys out. It's brand new from YouTube. I'm not sure about it, so I'll see if I can get some more information for next time. Let's see. Does Stampin' Up! Offer any official training for 3D projects, or is it more of a design your own adventure? It's a design your own adventure. They don't offer training for 3D projects. So Danelle, you can send me a message. I'm happy to send you a catalog for just $5 to cover the cost of shipping. Or if you shop with me, you'll get an email to request a catalog for me as a new customer. So a couple of different ways. If you go to thepaperpixie.com/catalogs, you can see the catalog digitally online and download the digital version. But shop with me and I'd be happy to send you a catalog, okay? Or just $5 to cover the cost of shipping. The die cutting machine I used tonight is the Anna Griffin Empress. I got it from Anna Griffin. It's the Anna Griffin Empress Mini is the one I used tonight, but I have both sizes. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Okay, so the punch Brenda used is no longer available. Any suggestions on what to use that is small size for the ribbon? 1/2 inch punch doesn't hold the ribbon in. The one she used is 1/4 inch. I actually did get the punch that Brenda recommended recently. I've been watching it for what feels like months. This is the one, and it's like a little bit of a slot punch. It seems to be coming and going in stock on Amazon, so just keep checking Amazon. I know what you're talking about, the ribbon slot punches that we have from Stampin' Up. The one is a little bit wider than this one. You could also try the trick. I don't know if you can see what I did here, Jennifer, but I fed the ribbon around and into the ribbon saver, and that seems to hold on to it a little bit better in case it happens to be wider than the ribbon. So that's just another option you could try. I do not have a hack, Lenore, for the 3D embossing folders with the Anna Griffin Empress. I haven't sat down to take the time to figure out the best sandwich. I know that people have figured out the sandwich with the Empress. I typically use the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine until I can figure out the sandwich. I personally like using an electric machine versus a manual just to kind of save my shoulders, and it's just, I do so much die cutting, it's easier to use an electric machine, but I haven't figured out the sandwich yet, so. You do have to be really careful, especially with the 3D and coming up with the right sandwich. I just don't know what it is for the Empress, unfortunately. All right, that is the end of the questions. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for dealing with me while I was trying to do a necktie tie that just didn't go so well, but I love the ribbon as well. So that is perfect for those of you that might struggle with the necktie. A ribbon works as well. So we've got options. But I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed tonight's project or learned a tip or trick or two, make sure you take a moment to like the video. You'll see the little thumbs up below the video here. And if you're new here, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be notified when I'm live next, which will be next Wednesday, July 9th, 2025 for episode 381. We're sneaking up to 400 here. I hope you guys have, for those of you in the US, a happy 4th of July this weekend. I'm planning to take Friday off this weekend. Brian's got the day off from work as well. I hope wherever you celebrate the 4th of July that you find some creative time, some time to put your feet up, some time to relax. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed weekend. Check out the online exclusives, the new kits that dropped, and I think that's the scoop right now. If you have any questions, as always, reach out to me at support@thepaperpixie.com. Don't forget, all you need are stamps, ink, and a little paper pixie. And here's a shout out to my Pixie patrons. Thanks you guys so much. Have a wonderful and blessed week. We'll see you next time. Take good care. Bye.